What does a hip replacement sound like? I bet you've never heard that before. One of the things that I love about doing hip surgery is the sheer physicality of it. Power tools, hammers, chisels, implants, bone cement. It's an absolute feast for all of your senses.
I love the smell of napalm in the morning.
I love the smell of bone cement in the morning, to coin a phrase. A recent research paper caught my eye today. The work was done by a group of orthopaedic surgeons in Tokyo. They wanted to see if the sound that a hip replacement socket makes when it's hammered into the pelvis can predict if it's properly seated or not. If it isn't properly seated, then it'll become loose. The socket needs to be firmly gripped by bone so that the forces of movement going through the hip when we walk don't dislodge it. Within a few weeks, bone grows into the surface of the cup and it becomes part of you. Before the cup is impacted into place, you, the surgeon, or me, the surgeon, has to prepare the bone surface using reamers. These are attached to a power tool. They scrape away the diseased cartilage until you get to healthy bone. You then use a trial implant to check that the size is right, and if it all looks good, you put in the real thing. When you hammer the socket into place, there's a distinct change in tone as it makes contact with the bone. It's as if the bone and the cup resonate together. If you don't hear this change of tone, then you need to take out the cup and try again. Sometimes you have to put a screw or two into the cup to fix it in place firmly. What the surgeons from Tokyo did was to analyse the sound of impaction of the cup to see if there are any differences between good and bad fixation. The sound is a mix of lots of different frequencies, but by using a technique called Fourier transform, they found that good fixation had higher frequencies compared to poor fixation. When I worked in Adelaide as a research fellow, we used a similar technique of sound analysis to see if we could predict when a fracture had healed soundly. What we did was to vibrate the bone on one side of a tibial fracture, that's the shin bone, and detect them on the other side using a sensor. What we found was that as the fracture healed, the vibrations on each side of the fracture were more likely to be the same. It was fascinating, but it never really got to the point where we could routinely use it in a fracture clinic. It's a shame, really. But it got me a job on the next rung of my career. Ding dong to that.
Mr. Bell?
Ding dong, you're not wrong.
Thanks for watching. If you'd like to get in touch, the details are in the description. Any comments or questions, please leave them below. See you all again soon.